moment ago, I was looking through some old notes on my phone. Nothing extraordinary, just random thoughts, unfinished ideas, things I wanted to do, conversations I had, or conversations I wanted to have, or messages I had sent, first composed in a notepad, or maybe the messages that I wanted to send but remained unsent and remained in my notepad forever. Nothing extraordinary, just random thoughts. And but as I scrolled, I realized something that most of us do not realize. Have you ever had a brilliant idea while driving, taking a walk, sitting in a cafe, working out in a gym, or lying in bed at night? For a few minutes, it feels life changing. You'll remember it, and then it's gone. Not because it wasn't important, but because you never documented it. Most people don't have a memory problem. What they have is a documentation problem. That's why documenting your life may be one of the most powerful and beautiful habits you can develop. And when I say your life, I don't just mean writing to-do list. In fact, many people have already done enough to-do lists. What they really need is to be list. A list of a person that they want to become, the person who exercises consistently, the person who reads books, the person who learns new skills, the person who starts that business, the person who writes that book, the person who finally takes action. Because your life changes when your identity changes, and documenting your thoughts helps you to watch that transformation unfold. You can write about present, you can write about how you feel today, what's working, what's not working. You can write about past, the memories that shaped you, the mistakes that taught you something valuable, the people who influenced your life. You write about your future, the life you want to create, the income you want to earn, the places you want to visit, the skills you want to master, the relationship that you want to build. There's an endless amount of material available to write about. Your own life is a library full of stories, lessons, dreams, victories, failures. Most people simply never open those books. And something remarkable happens when you start writing regularly. Your brain begins organizing itself. Scientists call it neuroplasticity. Your brain consistently rewires itself according to what you repeatedly think about and focus on. What you write about repeatedly becomes more significant in your mind. Your attention starts searching for opportunities connected to those thoughts. Some people call this manifestation, others call it goal programming, others call it selective attention. Call it whatever you like. The outcome is often the same. What consistently occupies your mind starts influencing your action. Think about it. The moment you decide to buy that particular car, you suddenly begin noticing that car everywhere. The cars weren't created overnight. Your attention changed. The same thing happens with the opportunities. The same thing happens with the businesses. The same thing happens with the growth. And the same thing happens with the person. Once you decide that this is going to be the important person, you start noticing about the good things about that person. And then there are fascinating areas that humanity still doesn't fully understand. Quantum mechanics continues to challenge conventional thinking. The famous double slit experiment raises questions about observation, information, and reality itself. There are areas of science that have been explored, and there are vast areas that remain unexplored. Known truth, unknown truth, and the possibilities that haven't been imagined yet. The point isn't that you should believe every extraordinary claim. The point is that you should remain open-minded. History repeatedly shows that future often looks different from what people expect. And right now, you're living through one of the biggest transformations in human history. Artificial intelligence. Some people fear it, some people ignore it, some people are learning to use it. The difference between those groups will become increasingly obvious over the coming years. If you are a lawyer, AI can help you with the search of a faster judgments. It can help identifying the drafting errors. It can point out typographical mistakes. It can summarize lengthy arguments. Work that once took hours and sometimes days to be completed is completed in minutes. If you are a student, it can become a tutor. If you are a writer, it can become an assistant. If you are a business owner, it can become a productive multiplier. AI doesn't eliminate the need for skills. It rewards those who combine these skills with the technology. People who learn work alongside AI will often have a significant advantage over those who refuse to adapt. Look around. Content creators are building businesses that would have been unimaginable just few years ago. Some creators are generating millions of views, building companies that tie with the tiny teams. Technology technology has reduced battery barriers that once seemed impossible to overcome. Opportunities that previously required huge investment now often require a laptop, an internet connection, and a willingness to learn. It has never been easier to start, yet many people remain stuck. Not because opportunities are unavailable, because they refuse to adjust their direction. Imagine a sailboat. The wind changes, but the sailor refuses to move the sails. Eventually, the boat slows down. The problem isn't wind. The problem isn't refusal. The problem isn't wind. The problem isn't sails. The problem is the refusal to adapt. You don't necessarily need a new profession. You may simply need a new skill. You may need a new tool. You may need a new approach. You may need to become a student again, because adaptability has always been one of the most valuable human traits. The strongest didn't always survive, the most adaptable often did. The same principle applies to the careers. The same principle applies to the businesses. The same principle applies to the life. Change or perish, not as a threat, as a reality, and documenting your life can help you navigate that reality. The good news is that documenting your life has never been easier. You can write on your phone, you can continue the same note on your laptop, review it later, or on other device. Modern technology allows your thoughts to travel with you. You no longer need to depend on a single notebook or a single device. Your ideas can remain accessible wherever you go. But despite all the technology available today, there's something special about pen and paper. Sometimes writing by hand feels different, more intentional, more aesthetic, more primitive, more meditative, and I do it often. The act of physical writing slows your thinking. It creates space for reflection. It allows you to engage your thoughts differently. That's why there is no need to choose between digital and paper. Use both. Use whichever helps you capture the moment, because moments disappear quickly, ideas fade, insights vanish, memory weakens unless you record them. Before going to the sleep, write one page. Not for social media, not for likes, not for everyone else, for yourself. Write about today. Write about your childhood. Write about your fears. Write about your ambitions. Write about the person you are becoming. Write about the future that you want to create. Start documenting your life, because one day you may realize that your journal wasn't simply recording of your story, it was helping shape it. The world is changing faster than ever before. Technology is changing, businesses are changing, education is changing, careers are changing. The people who thrive will not necessarily be the smartest and the most talented. They will be the ones willing to learn, adapt, and evolve. Keep learning, keep documenting, keep adjusting your skills, because the future belongs to those who are willing to change before they are forced to. So, change or perish.